All right, so we're live now. I'm just going to wait for everybody to get on, and then we'll start per the usual. Ask your questions down below. And we're going to get going with today's topic. So just kind of hang tight as I make sure that everything's good on my end. I'm going to do a community post here so everybody knows we're live, because I know some people don't always see these. So I want to give everybody a chance to come on first. All right. Right. Okay, so I got that up. Everybody's good. That's good. Okay. And what's going on? So today's topic is going to be a little different. It's going to be basically, essentially, what the title reads. Now, just checking a couple last things on my end here. Okay, good to go there. So essentially, the topic today is basically brought to you by the manufacturer, but does anybody really care? And the reason I'm saying this is because I've seen a scourge, if that's even a real word, a horde, let's go with that, of like just a ton of reviews from every industry, everywhere, all the time, brought to you by the same cherry-picked people. And for me, it gets really annoying because I know what it is, but like it seems like the general public doesn't seem to really care too much about being marketed to, so long as at the end of the day they're left with a giddy feeling and they run off to go spend their money. And so I kind of wanted to have an open conversation about this to see where you guys stand with this and your thoughts on the whole situation. Because, I mean, we all know my stance on it. I feel like, honestly, if you're going to talk about a product as a reviewer, your sole purpose, your sole job, I think of any reviewer, the job is to review the product compared to what it did last year, compared to what the company has done in years prior, and to make sure that every single feature is living up to the claims that it is claiming to offer. And 9 times out of 10, I see people just glowing in these reviews. There's no real analysis. There's no real breakdown. It's just like, this TV comes equipped with 4K. That's 4 times the resolution of 1080p. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. We know that already. We've been hearing that. And we hear stuff like that, you know, like they'll point out some new thing like the AI Picture Processing Pro is amazing at rendering contrast, depth, and realism. It's like, I don't need the company lying, man. And for me, it gets so hard because, like, 2022, right? Year's going to continue to do the same thing if you're looking at the mainstream reporters. And it's really irritating because it's like, I get almost to a point where I'm like, I get how these people have followings. I do completely understand that. But how is it that, like, on their videos, they're not equally being called out for not covering certain things? Like, they'll just gloss over it entirely, or they'll say something wrong and they're defended. So my question, I guess, to the community is, when something is clearly wrong or somebody has clearly put their foot in their mouth, why is it such a taboo to sound off about it? So lock in your answers and, you know, send them over, and we're going to do whatever we can to answer as many of your questions as possible in the usual fashion, but also to have a live conversation. Because we usually do a lot of question answering, but we don't actually really break the fourth wall and have a true conversation. So I wanted to kind of open it up and just start off the conversation this way. Okay, so we're going to jump into the chat here. I'm going to go into the live chat and we're going to see what we've got here. So I'm going to say hello to everybody. Also, a little disclaimer, if I don't get to you before the end of the night, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I've got a lot of questions that are probably going to come up here, so I'll try to get to everybody. But also, let's make sure we're engaging, asking questions, and have a good time. Okay, so we've got, for me to know, Craig, Kimar, Marcus, what's going on, everybody? Dane, we've got everybody here, so I appreciate it. Dane says, what's up, bro? Greetings from Trinidad and Tobago. I think that's how you say that. I'm not entirely sure. What's going on, man? How well does the C1 handle Black Crush? It handles it fine if you have proper settings. If you have improper settings, you're going to run into a ton of Black Crush because by default, it's not really optimized. It's just kind of like a here you go kind of thing. You know, because people tend to like ooh and all over the dumbest things. They go, ooh, the black levels are super dark. I love it. That's all I need. Not realizing that sometimes it could be artificially produced and there are techniques to get around it. Now, on pretty much any TV that you can have, not just like the C1 OLED in general, any TV is capable of producing black crush. And I found that on mini LED, nowadays it's more prevalent than ever. So black crush is definitely going to be something we run into a lot more. Is there still a future left for the C10? I don't think it ever had a future, if I'm being honest with you. I never liked it, and it went on my do not buy list. It was one of those TVs I just never really got on with, and I sold for $500 to a subscriber because I hated it that much, even after trying to give it a second chance, after getting tons of flack from the community to at least try it again after the updates, which admittedly, okay, it's a little better, but I'd never really liked it or fell in love with that TV to the degree that I did with True Champion. So I don't think it ever had a future. We've got keep up the great work, Q, or the good work, Q. I appreciate that, Reagan. We've got, I'm not sure if it's the internet, but your voice is a little choppy. You said like talking through a fan. I don't know if I can fix that. We're just gonna have to go with it for now. Audio crackling. All right, we've got audio issues. So let's see. I'll do my best to try to fix it. I suppose I'll try to what can we do? Unplug and plug it back in. I don't know if that's actually gonna work. Unplug, plug back in. That's my big move. If my big move doesn't work, I don't really know what to do here, right? That's about all I could do. So I don't know. If that doesn't do anything, I don't know what to say, man. Some people, voice sounds a little tacky. Voice sounds weird. I don't know. There's always something going on with live streams. That's why I prefer like pre-recordings and broadcasts that are done ahead of time. Because I tell you, like the live stuff is just, it's a pain in the ass. It really is. So much goes wrong during live streams. But I don't know. I don't know what to do with the audio. Everything seems fine on my end, but it could be just me. But that being said, I want to give a shout out to you, H. Cadena, for becoming a member here. And you get your own little special VIP right here, doing the VIP cutouts now. So definitely want to appreciate you. As you guys know, it is important as hell that we sound off against all of the nonsense that we've been seeing with, I call it the Reportergate. And for anybody wondering what that is, it's basically you're being blocked out of really saying anything before they get their say, create the narrative, and then tell you what to think. And I cannot stand that. I am so passionately against it. You would never understand just how deeply against it I am. So for me, I always appreciate guys like, I'm going to mess your name up again, H. Cadena. I hope I said that right. And also our new member here, Ryan G. I appreciate you as well. I mean, member for 2 months. I appreciate it. You said, love all the honest reviews, man. And honestly, you guys are what we do it for. So I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic. And it's for me, it's somebody has to come out here and start fighting back, because, and I'm not saying that as like some cheap, like, we're a politician, on the campaign trail. Like, this is real life, right? Like, I know for a fact every last one of you see what's happening with inflation. It's ridiculous. Gas is through the roof. And it's not stopping. Every day it goes up 20 cents a gallon. Who's going to be able to afford stuff after a while, right? People are going to start staying home and like doing what? Watching their TVs more. So what does that mean? That means that it's important that you have the right TV. Do you think any of these reporters care about your lives? These people who are going and reviewing multi-million-dollar homes, smart homes, and getting flown out to pre-CES events, and the richest of the rich, of the most cherry-picked. Do you think they care? No. That's why they never answer your comments, because they genuinely think that they are better and bigger than you, because they've made connections through the manufacturers and marketing managers to be able to manipulate you into thinking whatever. And now I hear a lot in the community too when I mention this. People say, well, isn't that kind of the fault of the people who trust these people? I mean, we're all grown adults here. Like, if you trust somebody that manipulates you, isn't it like shame on you? I disagree with that because of one very specific reason. Not everybody is passionate about AV, right? Some people buy a TV and that's the end of it for them. They walk away and they never come back until their TV dies. So if you've been out of the game for a very long time and you have this new age of social media taking over, as it has, and becoming more and more weaponized to be a marketing platform and not an honest review site, where literally you have companies that literally just hand money out, pay for reviews. They literally can create whatever reality they want. It's like a fucking infinity stone, pardon my French. for me, it's really irritating because it's like I'm seeing it happen, and I'm actively one of the independent reporters in YouTube talking about AV content all the time, and it's really annoying for me to see just how little people care when everyday people like, and we're talking everyday people like you, like me, like get treated, and it's crazy because we'll see the alienation happen where we'll see, like, let's say for example you buy an LG C1. Somebody thinks you should have bought an A90J. It immediately turns into like a tribal-esque war. Like nobody can say anything bad about the TVs that they have, and I can't stand that. Like the C1 guys that I have are very good and very welcoming. But before this point, I mean, some of you guys can know, even back on the C10, I was getting hell for talking about the C10 and where it needed to improve and its flaws, because it's just like you can't really say a whole lot after the narrative has already been established. This is the best TV to buy. And best by what metrics? They come out and they say that. They slap awards on the boxes. They give CES's best of. But let's be very honest here. When you see a best of CES, they have no measuring tools to assess any of the claims they're making. And the CES organization admits in fine print that they don't verify any of the claims and submissions being sent. So when they give a best of award off of looking at it on the floor, it's just an opinion. And you are believing that this is the best TV because of those awards and the, I guess, stature it's supposed to garner. It doesn't mean anything. It's like literally perfect example here. Big shout out, by the way, to Megacube 6. I hope I said that right. And nice little boots you got there, man. But let's take this this VIP Megacube 6, right? Let's say this is an award that a subscriber can get, right? And it's an award. And I'm just going to give it to whoever. You know what? Why not give it to myself? Because I feel like I did enough this year, and I'm tired of working, so I'm just going to give a bunch of those to myself. That's essentially what happens when you have a manufacturer come up and they say, hey, we'd like you to review our product. We've noticed that you've built up quite the following. And you know what that smells like to me? That smells like good money. So I want in on the pie. How much to market to your audience? Everybody's got a price, right? I see here you've got, what's that? Over 100,000 subscribers. That's good for me. Tell you what, we'll fly out to the event. We'll let you get hands-on with the product. You'll be the first on YouTube. That's good for your views. You'll make a lot of money off of that. People love that. You'll be the first of a new product. We got a name behind us, but you're good marketing, so we'll help you out, you help us out, and that's how these relationships start. Just start. And then it goes more progressive than that. And the thing for me, really, that I cannot stand is like when you talk about it out loud and you mention the corruption out loud, people will tell you you're whining, you're jealous, it's all of these labels because they want to stop you from pointing attention to it, right? They're like, don't talk about this, you jealous, insecure, reaching for the stars, right? To come up with a name to call you. And for me, I'm just sitting here watching all of this stuff unfold on the regular basis, and it's just like, man, you would really think that at the end of the day, like given everything that's going on, that people would like maybe not be like that, but they are. And for me, it's so affecting. Now I want to give a shout out to Puppet Master. Welcome to the VIP. Got your nice little trousers here. I appreciate you for your donation of $5. You said everyone. You said hello everyone. Also, QTV, your mic's crackling, by the way. I know. My mic is, c'est la vie. It is what it is. I don't know if turning it down will do anything. I don't know. That probably didn't help much. That probably just made it lower and crackly. I'm not an OBS whiz. So if any of you OBS whizzes are out there, help me out. Ayúdame, because I need your help, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. But that being said, I try to connect with you guys more than just like the video, and a live feed is the only way I can do that. So yeah, audio crackles, all kinds of weird crap happens. I mean, I could try one other approach. Let's try one other method. This is my last and final ultimate super secret move, okay? I'm going to try this out. All right. Take that out. Okay, how about now? Let me know if the audio is better now, because I have no idea. That was about the last thing I could possibly do differently. So if that did something, great. I'm glad I fixed it. If not, well, it is what it is. Now, give a big shout out to Marcus Vickers, a snazzy fella. with a nice new hat. Thank you so much, man, for becoming a member and being a member here of 4 months. I really appreciate it like a lot. You are one of the best people in the community here. I mean, I really appreciate when you guys have been with me for a long time and you're following the journey. You're following, you're essentially growing a publication the right way. Like, I'm not brought to you by Sony, Hisense, Samsung, LG, Vizio, nobody. Like, I'm brought to you by you. You literally are looking at me and all of my data, my scientific findings, my tests, my comparisons, my ins and outs of knowing what I'm doing to be able to bring you that honest information. You're saying, you know what, I believe in this, I believe in what he's doing. Let's join, let's subscribe, let's get those awesome settings, let's see a day and night difference, let's stay a member for 4 months. And that means a lot to me, man. So, Marcus, I really do appreciate that because that's really freaking cool. It really is. So shout out to you, brother. I see you, man. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things that I get up in my feels over so many times. So I kind of want to see what you guys are saying about this whole situation. All right, so nope, still doing a bit. You said it's not. Uh, sounds worse and still crackling. Well, hell, ain't that about a bitch? There ain't really much I can do there. Let's see. I mean, is there something I can adjust in OBS? I have no idea. It's crackling, but I don't really know how I can stop the crackling. I just see like a settings cogwheel. Do I really want to touch this? I don't really know if touching it will do anything. I'm going to leave that alone. I don't know what I'm doing. So why don't we just do this? How about I try lowering my audio and see if that doesn't help because maybe my audio is peaking and maybe that's why we're crackling. Maybe that's it because I don't know how OBS does it, but when I do my regular videos, this is the right audio level, so I don't know. Sounds a little off. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to make the best of what we've got here, guys. All right, so the whole reason why I joined you, bro, you said hate people who get paid off to say things they know is wrong. Yeah, and man, well, for me, the thing that like really, and I mean this, like the thing that like it's so like heartbreaking and like mind blowing is like we're normal people, right? We're not tied to Sony, Samsung, or LG, and like to hear somebody who was brought to you to give you an opinion from those manufacturers and then praise those as industry experts is an insult to actual experts. Like I watch guys that literally go to college, get a journalist degree, that's all they know, come out and think that they're ready to start reviewing products, join a media conglomerate like Digital Trends, and now they're just working on the payroll. And now they're considered an expert because, hey, they put their 4 years in. Meanwhile, you'll have actual experts that know what they're doing not get half of the attention. And the thing is, those same experts have to go and approach the people like Digital Trends and all that to get eyes on their product and things like that. Like if you look at the scientists at Nanosys and things like that, they have to approach all these influencers because their reach isn't big enough on their own. Nobody even knows who Nanosys is. I guarantee you can go survey most of the average public. They'll be like, I don't know who the hell is that? I don't know who Nanosys is, right? But if you start asking, do they know who Digital Trends is? They're like, yeah, I know who that media publication is. They like review everything. And that's where we start getting into like a monopoly here of like narratives, right? You can control reality. Like you literally can control reality when you have that kind of power. And I don't think you guys truly understand like just how negative and bad that is for you and everyone else around you. It's like, bro, I'll give you the perfect example. The JD Power Award. That is the most garnered bullshit award ever created by a car manufacturer. And they give it to themselves every year and brag about it every year. We give ourselves the JD Power Awards, yeah. But like it means nothing, you know what I mean? And so for me, I'm sitting here and I'm watching CES, Best of CES, Best of the Best, HD TV Test Shootout, Value Electronics Shootout. They've got guys like Techno Dad on the panel. What? What is happening? Bro, like I look at the stuff that they use to, fluff up these products with these experts, which really are just people that play nice, okay? And none of it is making any kind of sense to me. I would like to see some of the people from Meridio, some of the actual calibration experts, plug in their tools at CES and just go do a deep dive and tell you all the things it's not hitting on a Delta error, tell you, this part of the IRE is not doing good. Or I mean, I would say, give me the time of day, but I really don't care one way or another because, I got you guys and we're a good community either way. But I mean, I don't know, give some of the other people a chance in the scientific community is what I would say, people who know their shit and want to get involved. But the problem is, though, now we're kind of getting into a niche crowd, though, right? Now there's so few people that actually truly know the craft, like aggressively, that are willing to speak out against the industry. Because the thing is, most of them are trained on the ISF, THX, and God forbid they speak up against the people that trained them. They don't want to do that. I have loyalty issues, I suppose. I don't care one way or another. I'm that kind of guy. If something's wrong, I don't care if like I knew you for my whole childhood. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You need to know it, right? You only grow if you know. And the thing is, people are so like stuck in this like mindset of like we're just not going to say anything ever. We're just going to keep our lips shut, keep our head down, and it's kind of like rote learning, right? And what that is in English, to kind of translate the meaning of rote learning for those of you that don't know, it's basically learning through repetition and kind of conveying a message over and over again until you submit and they break down your psyche. And then after a while, you accept it. Well, what do you think happens when every year they keep telling you everything is awesome, everything is awesome, everything's amazing, this is great, this is the best of the best? Then you start thinking in your brain, this brand is the best of the best, this brand is the king, this brand is amazing. They're gassing you up in your own head about these products. Not something you want to do. And I think, like, of course, it could be total culture shock if you find a channel like mine, where all we do is talk honestly about products. And it's one of those things where it's like when you figure it out, it's just like, I kind of fucks with this guy, but let me just see. And then when you see it for yourself, and you're like, oh, okay. So it's one of those things, man. It really is. But let's dive in and let's have a conversation with some of you guys. We got Anthony Laviso. You said, can I watch other media through my PS5 LG C1 on your recent game optimizer settings? You said, I use other apps on TV. Thanks for everything. I mean, yeah, right now, what I do, I use my PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, all that for streaming. I honestly exclusively do that because I don't like using the built-in apps. They replace them so quickly, and honestly speaking, like those things don't really work out in the long term because they choose what apps magically disappear. So that doesn't really happen too much on console, but it does on TVs. So that's something I've noticed. All right, so we've got Troy. What's going on? You said Culture Shock is the tip of the iceberg. What this channel is, it's eye-opening. I kind of agree. I guess I should agree. It's me, but like looking objectively, right? I never ran Quantum TV. I never started this, right? This is nothing, right? Objectively speaking, if I ran into a channel like this, what would be my impression? Like somebody who's actively out there fighting and explaining stuff to try to help people, I would appreciate it. I really would. And the thing for me that like I really like is when I find people in a niche that I'm not familiar with, right? Like automotive. I don't know shit about cars. Like I can't tell you how to fix a car. I'm not a mechanic. But like that valuable aspect of somebody being honest and not just selling out for a manufacturer or for a sponsor or for a deal, I really appreciate. And so I have to put it in context like that to really completely see full circle like just what it is from like everybody else's perspective. Because, sometimes it also is hard because like I'll say something and like to me it's just like, yeah, that's just a thing I know. But like to some people they're like, whoa, I never knew that. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Like that is a thing. Like I'm actually good at this. And it's hard because when it's something that's natural for you, you're just talking. It's just you. But I always have to try to remember that sometimes, especially like even now going into the review styles for this year, trying now to implement easier ways for people to understand the information, to get in and get out a lot faster. That's something that we're going to be working on this year a lot. And you guys are going to be seeing it pretty soon too, because there's a television that is definitely in the works. No, nobody's sponsoring it, but it's something that I'm pretty excited for. So maybe it's something you guys requested. Maybe it's something that'd be pretty cool to see. The timetable on it's terrible, though. I tell you what, with the shipping around the world being what it is because of the whole situation, I'm not going to say it because it's a controversial topic that no doubt YouTube will flag because they're thinking I'm talking about something that I'm really not saying, so you know how it is. We've got Nicolix. That's a clever name. You said, just joined today. The settings are phenomenal. I got the awesome prayer hands. I love that. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. You've been pumping out the tunes. You said, keep up the good work, brother. I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you holding down the Discord. Because God only knows, I show up there like once in a blue moon. I just don't have the time most of the time. So I appreciate you guys just holding it down, helping people out, and just enjoying it, making a true hobby out of it. Really did a good job of building up the community, so I appreciate that. We've got High Q. If the C1 motion is a 10 out of 10, please rate the U8G. Please rate the U8G motion out of a 10. Thank you. Out of a 10, it's probably about a 7. Probably about a 7. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's like it hovers just at the good level, because the problem is they kind of like, even with the new update, they put in motion blur that's just terrible. I don't know what Hisense's new direction is. I hope they don't do that on their TVs. I'm going to talk about it, right? Where like their motion is like really smeary because they think that they need to add motion blur to the already blurred out footage, because the director and the producer of these games and these studios already add motion blur. And I don't think Hisense is aware of this, because they're adding motion blur, and it can be very seen when you pause a frame, like let's say, like, because I run tests even in my spare time, right? I've got the LG C1 set up next to the U8G, and then I'll pause the same frame at the same time, and you can very clearly see the U8G is blurry, and I'm just like, wasn't a thing until this update. And that kind of rolls into my next thing. You really don't want to be updating your TVs unless you are not happy with it. I always, and I kid you not, always get questions like, hey, Quantum, like, do I update? What's the last firmware you were on? I mean, I was even meaning to check before the live stream to let you guys know. I mean, it was the game bar update on the C1. After that, I went completely offline because that was the last, like, actual major thing that I, like, had. And I don't know, man, I couldn't do it after that, right? So for me, I'm sitting here and I'm, like, looking at all this, and I'm just like, updates are not really great or in your best interest, because the U8G got nerfed and the motion is pretty bad. So yeah, I'd say about a 7 out of 10, because it's not terrible. Like, it is fluid at times, but there are also those times where I'm not very pleased with it at all, and honestly, it definitely doesn't meet my standards. So, especially like as time went on with these damn patches, like, I'm not happy about it. So yeah. We've got more questions coming in. What's up with the rainbow glare from the Samsung? You said, what? Rainbow glare from the Samsung? You said, thanks for the LG C1. Wait. Thanks for the LG C1 I exchanged for that from a QN90A. Confusing me. In a nutshell, I'm imagining you're saying, what's up with the rainbow glare? And you're saying that you exchanged one Samsung for an LG. And there you go. Kind of piecing it together slowly here, but yeah, I don't know anything about a rainbow glare. I mean, I guess if I have a flashlight out and I'm pointing it on it, I can see a rainbow glare, but not in normal viewing. I haven't actually seen that. If anybody else has seen this rainbow glare, let me know. You said, Carlos did the battery backup for the APC. It failed twice. It's a hoax. Should I get the U8G or wait for the U8H? I mean, at this point, I'd wait for the U8H, because, frankly, the U8G just kind of is underwhelming as far as motion now. Because if you get it and it hits that update thing, you're going to see the motion blur that I'm talking about. And it's almost as bad as the U9DG was. That's saying something. That's saying a whole lot. It's not good. And I'm pretty disappointed by it, actually. Maybe I should show it off in a video. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Depends on if you want to see it. The thing is, though, if you update it, it's not ideal. And the thing is, like, these TV manufacturers keep pushing these updates like they're, like, making miracle water every time they come out with an update. But, like, it slows stuff down, de-optimizes some things. It's like, when you try to tune things digitally or remotely, you're asking for trouble kind of thing. That's why I always say, like, when I do reviews, by the way, this year will be no different, I like to stay 100% offline and review the product that they put out. as it is without any updates, so that if you buy it, you know exactly what you're going to get. Because if you buy this product, right, and you get it home, and let's say, Wi-Fi goes down or something, you don't feel like updating or whatever, and you're watching this TV and it's dog crap, and the immediate response will be probably it's dog crap, right? So I try to represent that aspect of it, and then I get those people later on that say, hey, but the update could have fixed these issues that you're having. But I'm kind of sitting here 9 times out of 10 like, why am I having issues? Like, the TV nowhere on the box tells you requires internet connection. It's not a thing. So why are we like accepting this as like a general thing? Because that's kind of the line that you get from a lot of the manufacturers and the industry guys that are so-called experts. They tell you, hey, just update your TV. It's okay. Yeah, plug in all this super personal information, your zip code, your address, your area code, all this stuff, everything. Just give us everything. And then, submit to the terms of service, to be online, privacy policy. We may sell your information if you don't go in the menu and tick it off. I mean, it's like such bitchy shit. Like, I just don't have patience for it. So, yeah, that's my whole take with the whole thing there. We got BitCloud Gaming. Thank you, brother, for your donation of $2. He said that LED in the background is dope. Yeah, it's the Govee Glide Wall. Super dope. Absolutely love it. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, bro, I was watching your live stream or podcasts. I always forget the difference. I think it's a RGT podcast. Yeah. And if you guys are watching, check out BitCloud, because yeah, man, he's running a pretty interesting show. I tell you what, he was over there interviewing Mickey James, and I mean, I'm just watching this, and I'm like, this is so freaking cool, but I got a live stream I gotta go do. But it was really good, though. I really appreciate like watching, all the questions that you guys put out. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's a fun time for sure. So yeah, and BitCloud, you get your own little guy here, fancy shoes and your boots and swagger. BitCloud Gaming. Yeah, good friend, BitCloud. Good friend. All right, so we've got Sammy Ocean. You said, do you think Hisense is going to have a down year like Sony had in 2021? A down year, we say? I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest, yes. Don't hate me. Here's why. There's already so much hype coming off of the UAG. People like the UAG, they thought it was great, but now introduced Mini LED, and still to this day, people have an unrealistic expectation of what Mini LEDs actually do. They genuinely believe it's like a replacer of OLED. It's just going to supersede everything OLED does from the black level perspective, contrast perspective. It's like the perfect happy medium. The thing is, I have never, and I'm going on record here, I have never seen a single manufacturer get Mini LED right. TCL was the first to try. They failed miserably. Black Crush still remains a big issue, still to this day, on all of their Mini LEDs. I started reviewing that back with the Q825, and it was a mess. Then enter Samsung with Neo QLED. Expected big things because it's one of the big three, right? They know how to do processing. You get to it, and it's, oh my god, bad. It was terrible. Like, I'm watching some of the worst blooming I've ever seen, and they're talking about quantum matrix technology, and I'm just sitting here like, where? Fucking where is it? And, it was on the QN95 or the QN90A and the QN85A. So I knew it wasn't like a panel defect. Everybody loves throwing that word out there. So you just buy two TVs to get rid of that whole thing altogether to see if that technology holds up. And for so-called quantum matrix technology that's like thinner than a grain of sand or whatever the bullshit marketing ploy, I mean, it didn't live up to it, right? And of course, people damage control that. But that was my thing. So now enter Hisense, right? 2022. A lot of hype built around Mini LED. People still think it's hot water. Hisense is known for having really bright TVs. I don't think they're going to be able to handle a Mini LED because of the challenges that it poses. Because, of course, algorithmically, you have to have everything on point from a contrast perspective because it can get darker. But, like, what happens to the highlights then? What happens with banding? Have they fixed banding? They have a big banding problem, Hisense, right? And I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed and needs to be fixed with newer iterations of technology. We'll see, but do I think they're going to have a down year? A little bit, yeah. I think people are going to go in, especially now, particularly with the wording, Mini LED with quantum dots. I think a lot of people are going to, in their mind, automatically associate it with the QN90B, right? And so that's immediately going to be what they're expecting, right? Because it's a Mini LED, and they're going to be like, well, they could do it, why can't you? You know what I mean? Comparables. So that's what it is. So I think that might bite them in the ass if it's not perfect, so we'll have to find out. But I do think it might pose a problem. Audio is no longer crackling. Right? I don't know how to even, it's so random. It's like sometimes audio does what it wants, other times it doesn't. I couldn't tell you. I'm glad it worked itself out, and I do appreciate you for letting me know that, man. What do you think about Digital Trends reviewing the X95K? Weird how they talk about problems, but find a way to justify it. That was something that I really took protest to, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Bro, because, like, I'm watching I'll be very honest to everybody watching right now, every viewer, and even maybe if some indie guys are watching or some secret reporters are watching, one of the mainstream reporters. I watch everyone's video. Let me say that again. Everybody, I watch everybody. FOMO, Villaman, Be the Installer, anyone and everybody, right? And I always watch their videos objectively. I don't have any problems with you. I don't know you. I am a fresh sapling looking for information because that's how people are going to approach every video. So I open my mind every single time. And every time I try to do that, I just immediately I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, why are you justifying it? I did not like when they were talking about the A95K, how they're like, yeah, the A95K, is it brighter than mini LED? I mean, to what end kind of like attitude? And I'm just like, no, we're not starting that. We're not going to do that. Either it made a 200% brighter OLED over the OLEDs we have right now, like Sony claimed, or it's bullshit. And you have to be fair about that, Digital Trends, because that's come on. That's what Sony's advertising. And this is where my thing comes in, where brought to you by the manufacturer kind of comes into play. Because, of course, if you need Sony to keep funneling you early access to keep your viewers hooked, you're not going to say shit to piss them off. If you are like me and you're crowd and self-funded and all of the members and all of the donations, right? You guys are the lifeblood of this community, of this publication. We don't need any manufacturer. Nobody's in our pocket. Nobody's handing us fucking, bribe money, right? To tell them, or to give them a good glowing rating. And I think that's where the problem comes in. Now, I'm not saying that Digital Trends is doing that, but I'm just saying kind of what it felt like for that particular video, because you're not going to tell me that Sony made a claim. As a so-called reviewer, you're supposed to fact check those claims. Is it living up to the hype? If it didn't, you should say that. And the thing that really also bugged me is, like, you're going to do a review. Who here knows what a review is? A summation, a summary of everything that TV has to offer. And then tell us that the real review is coming in the next review video. Like, that isn't actually the review. You just clickbaited everybody. And it's, again, feeding off of the manufacturers giving you stuff to do more shady shit. And for me, I get really bugged by that. Because I'm watching, bro, like, I swear to God, on my life, dude, I'm watching what's happening in the world right now. I really am. I mean, you're talking from, he who shall not be named, the one sickness that shall not be named, the Voldemort, right? And then you have the one current event that is so very fucking terrible, right? That, like, is terrible, okay? And I'm watching all this stuff, and then counteractively, I'm watching how people are responding to it, and I'm just sitting here watching the world go to shit. And you would think this is the time where humans come together and they say, you know what, man, I was a real piece of shit back there, Jimmy. You know what I'm going to do this year? What are you going to do, Bob? I'm going to go clean this year. I think I'm going to stop lying to the people. I think I'm going to give them what they want to see. How are you going to do that? I don't know yet. I think I'm going to lie to them some more. That's kind of like the approach these people are taking. I swear to God. I'm watching this and I'm just like, how do you make that leap? Like, come on, man. So, yeah, like, did I go on a little bit of a rant here? Yes, but I get annoyed. You guys can tell I'm really passionate about this stuff. And, like, when I see people, like, literally playing games with people, I'm like, you don't have to do it like that. So that's my big thing here. So we've got the Cuban sandwich. I love it. The Cuban sandwich. Thank you for your donation of $20. You really helped us out here today. I appreciate you as much as I appreciate everybody here. You guys are fantastic. Nice swagger right here. I don't know why your name is on your torso or your crotch area, so if anybody asks, please don't. But the Cuban sandwich, thank you, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, man, like, so that's one of the things that gets weird for me. And, like, also, like, when I'm watching other reviewers, like, they'll say things, like, and again, I watch everybody's video, like, do you understand, like, I'm rooting for FOMO, I'm rooting for Be the Installer, I'm rooting for HDTV Test, I am waiting for the day where they just take a page out of my book and they're like, this is shit, that is shit, and this is shit because here is the specific reason. And they just be upfront about it. Like, I'm waiting for that, and I never see it. Instead, I see, like, I see like these like borderline like let's not mention this kind of attitude towards a lot of the stuff that's wrong with these TVs, and it's like it's not how it's supposed to be. Like even if you're just a dude off the street, right, and you review a product, I mean, you do a better job. I mean, you know what I mean? Like when you guys are reviewing Amazon products, is it not thorough, right? You go in and you talk about what you liked. You go, you know what? I like the packaging. It was a really good presentation. Made me feel good about myself. It was fantastic, right? I opened up the product. I started checking it out. And you know what I thought? You know what? This is a pretty decent product. But then they totally went downhill because they fucked me with this, that, and the third. And that's usually how people go about writing reviews. And then maybe if they like the product and they give a 3-star, they'll round it off by saying, but even though I didn't like those things, I still can appreciate it, so maybe I'll give it a 3-star. And that's how it works, right? But these guys don't even do half of that. And I don't know. I just want a human element, I guess, when we're talking about televisions that are thousands of dollars, and this year they're very expensive. So I'm just kind of sitting here and I'm just, it's a whole thing, dude. It really is. So we've got. I'm gonna get the U8G from Best Buy, then return it when the U8H comes out. Hey, bro, whatever works, man. That's one way. We've got Keep It Real. If you have a C1, try his filmmaker mode settings. It looks insane. I appreciate that, Nicolix. I love that name. That name is so clever. I just wish the Z9K wouldn't be so heavy. Yeah, that thing is thick. Like, I don't know who they're imagining is gonna want to lift that up. That's like, I don't know. Everybody's like now, especially in the age of like, oh, let me mount my TV on the wall. Like Sony's still got those really crazy thick ass bezels. Like they gotta stop with that. That's not gonna be fun for anybody to lift. Though if you can afford a Z9K, you're probably not the one lifting it. Am I right? You probably got the guy coming into your house and you're just watching him like, don't envy your job right now, buddy. You want some water? You want a water? You're watching them get broke all kinds of off, and that's just how it happens. I picked the wrong year to upgrade my 2008 Sony Bravia. New one locks up constantly. It's going back to Costco. Sorry to hear that, man. We've got, hey Q, do I have a little dude on your wall? I think you do. You should. You might. I don't know. Let's see. I can't turn my neck like that prolonged. Very uncomfortable for me. Ugh. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you've got a little dude. You've definitely been showing up here, man, for sure. Who knows? Maybe you'll see a little dude later on. Never know. Speak of the devil, your little dude. Look at that, America first. Got your little dude, snazzy little fella. So there you go, brother. I appreciate you, man. All right, so we've got HDTV Test is good with explaining the screen lag tool he uses. You're great for color explanations. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know, man. I watch HDTV Test video, and I'm gonna go exactly like it goes. I watch the video, I turn on, I'm like, all right, what's he gonna say? And he starts off, and in the first couple of, statements, he'll make a corny little joke followed by a little ding, and I just sit there and I go, no, right? And then after that, I'm watching, I'm like, all right, come on, get to the point. Have to, like, pass by a lot of information before we get to the nitty-gritty. And then you get to the nitty-gritty, and you're like, all right, so let's see what you're saying. 9 times out of 10 for me when I watch HDTV Test, it's kind of just, like, really boring, monotone, and then his delivery on some of the stuff is just, like, that could have been like a 1-minute video, man. Like, it feels drawn out for no reason kind of thing sometimes. And when I see the tools that he uses and like, dude, it's just like 9 times out of 10, homeboy is using false color. And he's like, hey, check out this expert tool. And I'm like, that's a waveform. It's a waveform. That's not really an expert tool. That's just, that's no different than a histogram. Right? It's one of those type tools. Lets you know exposure is correct or not correct. And, where it sits with the video signal. It's not really that intricate. Anybody could have access to that if they pick up DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, like stuff like that. So I'm watching this and I'm just sitting here and I just shake my head 9 times out of 10 with a lot of the stuff he does. And I don't know. I see a lot of his tests, not impressed by a lot of them. I think for me, if I could give HGTV Test credit for something, the one thing he does I think that is really cool, bet you didn't see that coming, right? I think HGTV Test does the whole like, I'm struggling here. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. We're gonna get through this. I started this. I'm gonna see this through. Goddamn it, right? I'm gonna see it through. All right. What does he do good? HGTV Test. I think. Ooh, this is hard. This is so hard. I didn't expect it to be this hard. All right, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. All right. HGTV Test. Analysis on picture settings. Yes, he just goes through and gives you generic picture settings, but that's helpful for the end user to know what some of the end user stuff is, like, brightness, controls the black levels, like basic stuff. I think it's pretty good. I think, yeah, that's where we can leave that. Boy, did not expect to struggle that hard. I actually thought I had more than that, and I just failed to deliver. Like about his penis, so cringe. Yes, he does make those kinds of jokes. It is very... I don't know. Like, he made one joke. I'm going to sound really horrible to a lot of people, and I'm going to apologize in advance for triggering a lot of people, but I kind of don't care because he's the one who said it, not me. I'm just kind of repeating it. But he made some joke about him having, like, a small dick or something. And I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at this video, and I'm like, we kind of already know that's a thing, though, bud. That's like, come on, man. We know. You're not joking. You probably wholeheartedly mean that. Like, I hate when people try to pass that off as a joke when you know that's probably, like, their whole ass life. Because he, like, kind of low-key looked depressed after that. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we've got, hey, bro, appreciate your work. What do you think about the settings for particular games? Like, C1 settings for Gran Turismo 7 or Ghost of Tsushima? I think it's hard because, like I was saying, like, hey, you remember, right? You probably seen what I was saying. I saw it and I'm like, you remember. And what I was saying in one of the other videos that I was doing, when I was making the game optimizer settings for the C1, it's just like, not the game optimizer setting, the sport settings. It's a lot like that for gaming, where, like, down to, like, the studio, sometimes they choose different art styles, as they call them. But that throws off the whole dynamic of a picture setting, right? Like, the black levels will start to crush, or you'll have lifted blacks or clipped whites. Like Horizon Forbidden West, a bunch of clipped whites everywhere. Like, it has a clipping problem like nobody's business, And of course, to make sure it's not the television, then I run it through my, again, false color to verify the exposure of the scene and all of that to see if that's where it's hidden. And of course, sure as shit, it's got a hell of a lot of red, which in English means that's unrecoverable information. And I do it at the source level to make sure that that's what's going on. And sure as shit, yeah, it's just the game. So it's hard because it's like my idea on setting things like, you can set values, but then what happens when they come out with a patch? And, like, you find out that maybe it wasn't your TV that needed optimization, it was the game. And that's why I hate these settings videos about these games, because while it's helpful in the short term, sometimes that can throw everything off and you have to go back and do it all over again because they're always patching these games. So that's kind of my thought there. Recommended. Oh, what's going on, Handicarp? I appreciate you coming out, man. We've got recommended viewing distance for a 55-inch C1. I mean, shit. I don't follow those rules, if I'm being honest with you. I'm looking at my viewing distance right now. My seating distance. Bro, I'm sitting, like, comfortably 10 feet away. Like, I don't follow that. So, c'est la vie. I mean, I really don't care. I actually prefer to get a little further away from my screen because I know it'll make the pixels tighter because I'm further away and a smaller image has tighter pixels. So, it's kind of like a little thing that I do. Which is why, I mean, everybody's obsessed with it. Go bigger, bigger, bigger. Not realizing you're just blowing up those pixels even larger. You don't really want to do that. But, again, I get the shock and awe of it. Just, that's not my thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think you can get away with anywhere from 6 to 10 feet, really. We've got, Sony should team up with AMD. Thanks, mate. I hit the jackpot with the on the U7G 65-inch for $599 last week. After your review, I did your settings, and bro, I couldn't be happier. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, Trilogy 21 21. Oh boy, 2112. Because I'm just getting that all kind of wrong, aren't I? I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean that's really what my settings are designed to do, right? They're designed to take a television that basically, when you got it, you're looking at it like most of us tend to do, and you go, damn, that really doesn't look great. I don't really know about this TV anymore. Plug in real values for it, and then you're like, all right, that's a little bit better. Holy shit. And then you start watching content, right? And for me, like, I create these settings, right? So I have so much fun with it. Dude, like, when I'm making some of these settings, I like getting there and I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'll tell my wife all the time, I'm like, oh, they're going to love these settings because this is fucking insane. Like, I'll watch movies, I'll replay games, I'll go in the backlog. Hello, 90s X-Men. You do that 4x3 DVD. Don't care what anybody says. Judge me all you want. I love that stuff. You know what I mean? Like classics, right? And so I'm watching this stuff and I'm testing it out and I'm going through different kinds of media. And like my settings, basically, I get like a collection of all the best movies, all the best games, and all the best kind of like in between TV shows, and like compile that together. Go through hours of watching and testing, making sure everything's correct across all those mediums, and then presenting that at the end of the day. And seeing comments like yours like really helps the feedback so much and keeps me going also, because it's like, that's a lot of fucking time. I mean, oh my god. Some of these settings take so long, and I feel bad because some of you guys pay, and you want the settings like now, and I know the feeling, but it's like, man, it takes a lot of time. It does. I'm kind of like ashamed to admit out loud how many hours it takes to make some of this stuff sometimes, because you'll sit there for quite a while and you'll find that like, oh, this doesn't look right and that doesn't look right. And it's crazy because you guys will still find things like on specific TVs with specific panel variances. You'll find like even hue shifts, and you'll be like, I'm noticing for this particular kind of content like broadcast, it's a little bit too orange, a little bit too green, a little bit too, and you'll notice little things like that. And so I'll have to go back in and make just broadcast settings to try to not have it as broad. It's one of those things. So yeah, I appreciate the feedback, man. I really do. Finally getting a C1 this week. When I see the prices for the C2, you said, yeah, I found it about 65-inch. It's definitely a good TV, man. I mean, I don't know. For me, I saw the price of the C2 and I wasn't about it. Where do I find your settings? I have a U8G. For settings, they're going to be in the C1 playlist. I'll give you the link so you can join. Once you join, just find the C1 playlist, and then you would be good to go after that. But all right, guys, it's family time. I got to wrap it up, spend some time with the missus, and enjoy the rest of the night with the little girls and all that. But that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty and just hanging out and doing what we do. We're going to be doing more live streams like this. I want to try something new before I leave. Just kind of letting you guys know. In the community tab, I'm going to try to ask you guys throughout the week to leave little topic pieces that you want us to talk about. And so we just kind of do what we do here, and we just kind of have a full-blown conversation. And actually, this was one of the conversations that I actually got requested to talk about, albeit it was a DM, but I figured why not. But even still, it's one of those things that I wanted to make sure we address and we talk about the things that are happening in the community. And, I don't really know if it was a DM. I think it was actually a text message from Anonymous. You sent over and you were like, if you could talk about like how unfair it is that, the algorithm is all messed up against you, and like everybody's like screwed up and they're greedy and they just, basically talk out of their ass. And so I really wanted to represent Anonymous as well, because like, I know you guys don't know it, but behind the scenes, the guy is just a rock star, and he really does help us out. So this video was basically brought to you by Anonymous, essentially, because he inspired the whole thing, really. And so I just wanted to get the conversation going in that direction. And so I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you as well. Handy Cart, Troy, I appreciate you. I appreciate literally every single guy and gal out there that donated tonight, became members. Speaking of which, we've got Allison Lager. I hope I said that right. I can't see if it's a G or not. I think it's a G. You got your VIP person right here. I appreciate you most definitely. Thank you for your donation of $10. You said, found you today. Very impressed with your knowledge. What's your background? You said, what 50 to 55-inch under $600 would you recommend? Furnishing a rental. That's very cool. So my background is, simply put, I used to be a photographer. After being a photographer, needing to professionally calibrate for prints and all that, after, of course, knowing the back end of color science from photography, color theory, all that. Then, of course, then we start jumping into display calibration. After doing display calibrations, then I start looking into TVs. 2015, Artings rolls around. They were professional, and I trusted them. I bought the Sony X850C. That TV was total dog shit, and then I developed this whole channel that we have today where I just wanted to fight back against misinformation and misinforming people with actual information from a true expert. And so that's basically what I do here. I basically fight Big Brother on this. I'm not going to let them create a narrative that like can't be challenged or questioned. It's like there's something wrong. There needs to be an open dialogue about it. And so that's basically what I try to do here. As far as the best 55-inch television under $600, I'd say try the TCL S546. That one is pretty damn good if you can still find it. Other than that, I would probably say maybe look at some of the Hisenses, but I would really put my hat on that TCL. That TCL was damn impressive. It really was. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate all you guys for stopping by tonight. I'm still getting questions and comments in. You guys are awesome, man. I really do appreciate you, but I'm going to get absolutely in trouble if I don't end the live stream and go spend time with the family. Not that it's a forced thing. Totally want to be with the family. Who knows? Maybe we'll watch a movie or something. I don't know. Let's be optimistic. But either way, guys, so definitely drop your topics throughout the week. Also, the fastest and easiest way to contact me, 2 ways. One, on the website at quantumtvblog.com, and also on the community tab. It is the community tab. It is your tab to say whatever you've got to say, and I see it immediately over even some of the comments that tend to get buried. So definitely come out and show the love, and let's have some fun. So that being said, again, thank you guys so much for watching Number One Brand in Honesty, and until the next video, I suck at OBS, and I'm going to try to turn this thing off. But I'll see you guys later, all right? Peace.